Can I show you my map up here? I got this map out of a garbage can at the school I used to teach at. On this side it's all chalkboard and it's the US. On the other side is the globe. And so we get to try to remember which states are in the Midwest. And then also New England. Who knows what all those ones are? Well, the people in New England do. I spent the day here in Albany at a conference for early childhood development, and I want to share you a couple ideas that came up there and that I've been actually churning on all week. The first big idea is about self-regulation. Self-regulation is basically the ability to make hard choices, and you can measure it in little kids, right? Because every kid has to choose whether to eat the cookie or not eat the cookie. Kids who are able to make hard choices, that can self-regulate, it's one of the best predictors for future success in life, both in career and in college. It's not reading skills, it's not math skills, it's being able to make hard choices. So that's the skill we want to give kids. Self-regulation is the opposite of ADHD. If you think about what a kid who's hyperactive and has a hard time paying attention, that's the opposite of self-regulation. They can't make a plan and then complete it. So what you're trying to do is teach kids how to overcome obstacles, make a plan, predict how it's going to go, and complete the plan. Some kids are good at this naturally and other kids are terrible at it naturally, but every kid can get better at it because it's a skill. There's only one way to get better at self-regulation: through conflict. So as a parent who loves their kid, you're going to have to learn to love conflict. You're going to have to learn to hurt their feelings sometimes. It doesn't mean that it has to be hostile. You can create conflict that's fun. Most sports are essentially just a fun version of conflict. Kids who can self-regulate are legitimately confident. That's where confidence comes from. It doesn't come from adults saying you're smart or you're talented. In fact, that does not create confidence. It creates this weird self-esteem, ego thing. It's actually the seed of narcissism and or, shame, which are two sides of the same coin. You don't want them to chase after the praise of others. You want them to chase after obstacles that they can overcome. That's where real confidence comes from. The other thing that's going to come out of overcoming obstacles is you're going to find obstacles that you can't overcome. You're going to find your own weaknesses in this process, your own failure. So part of this process, part of your job as a parent, is to bring them to conflict, bring them to that moment of failure, and then help them reflect on it. Say, why did I fail? What does it mean? And what will I do next time? Make a plan, see it to completion. The right mindset is to look at your life not as a series of successes and failures, but as a series of events that make you a little bit stronger, a little bit wiser. You have your weaknesses, but you also have a purpose. And that purpose is what drives you forward. That purpose is what gives you fulfillment, not whether you win or lose compared to other people. Because the trick with self-esteem, the trick with ego, is that it only works in comparison to others. And that's not a healthy way to go. A couple quick parenting tips. Number one, quit solving problems for them. If they're in conflict, be there to guide it, but guide it with questions and not with answers or solutions for them. Quit rescuing them so often. Tip number two, give them honest feedback. Wow, you didn't do a good job, or that took 5 times. I mean, that's even better because it's not even about good and bad. That took 5 times I had to tell you that. That's too many. How many do you think it should take? Right? Honest questions, open questions that they need to reflect on to turn the question around, the situation around, and do a better job. Through all this, remember that you're in charge. You're the parent. And you're not coming at this with a weakness that you're trying to avoid their negative emotions, but rather you're coming at it with a strength. This is the way we do it. This is the right thing to do. But I'm also going to help you when you're weak. That's the opposite of saying, I have to help you because otherwise you'll get upset. And so I'm going to be a compliant parent who just wants you to make sure you don't have negative emotions. This whole process of learning self-reliance requires negative emotions. And we need it more as adults, just like they do. So showing your own weakness is a healthy thing to do. But in the end, you've got to have strength to give them strength. Just as a note, as teachers, we can tell the kids whose parents aren't facing this with strength and generosity. The way we can tell is the kids show up to school and think that their negative emotions should be in charge. Well, that made me angry, or I should have it because I want it. As soon as a kid starts saying stuff like that, we know, oh, they've got a lot to learn about self-regulation and about who's really in charge. And I'll tell you as the principal, I'm more than willing to hurt their feelings for their own sake.